The mouse tracking looked awesome, and it's going to make a lot of map creators very happy, but I was wondering, when it's actually completed on Battle.net, is it still going to get like constant lag and delay, especially with like 8 players in the WASD system and mouse tracking? It just doesn't seem like it would work.
Well, that lag is something that we have been looking into and that we have been trying to improve upon. I know that in future updates we do hope to improve this, but yeah, hopefully in the future.
I was wondering if now or in the future you would put a system in where you can take Warcraft 3 characters and put them into Starcraft 2.
For BlizzardDOTA, we are actually creating a lot of the Warcraft heroes for Starcraft. For example, the Blade Master, for example, Sylvanas. And we will keep doing this, and we will also do this for all of our franchises. So you won't be able to specifically transfer data from Warcraft 3, but we will be including much of the content that you see in it.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering, right now when map makers upload their map, they upload them to their respective regions, and players from other regions can't play them. So do you plan to allow map makers to upload the maps so they are in all regions so all players can play them at some point?
Could you please repeat the question? We had a hard time hearing that.
All right. When a map maker uploads his map, he uploads to the respective region, like Europe or US or Southeast Asia. And when are you going to allow so that a map maker uploads his map and all players from all around the world can actually play it?
You know what? To be honest, I really don't have an answer for that question. That's something we can look into. I know that there's been some challenges with the different regions and publishing your map and trying to get them out published to all the regions. That's obviously one of the things where we really are trying to improve with the Battle.net experience, is to really help out the custom map making area.
Okay, I was wondering, with all the new maps that you guys are showing out there on the show floor, will all of those maps be locked when they're released, or will we be able to look at the insides and the guts of them to kind of see how they work?
They will be released unlocked, so you can go inside, you can take out any triggers that you want, any special art, anything. You can just pick and choose, you know, have a little party. You can have Aiur Chef food being consumed by Sylvanas while she's fighting a zombie.
Hey, this is more of a technical question, but so in the data editor, you can have these all some sorts of numbers for like your abilities in terms of like how much it does per damage and whatnot. Will the trigger editor ever have access to those numbers, to like the data you enter? Just because if you implement an ability in the triggers instead of through the data, changing it can be kind of obnoxious. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, currently through the trigger editor, you can access those numbers to some degree using the catalog field value get functions. And also, I think the upgrade system is a great way to be able to cause those values to change over time.
So I was just going to say the StarCraft 2 map editor is incredibly awesome and incredibly powerful, but also incredibly intimidating. And I'm wondering if there's plans, or maybe you guys could possibly put out a beginner guide. If not, what would you guys recommend for somebody who just wants to be able to go in and do stuff and figure stuff out? You know, some kind of starter guide to get people to learn how to do all these cool things you guys are doing.
We actually have a few projects in the works for that. One thing is that the maps that we showed today, I am really working really hard to try to get those published at some point so you guys can open those up and see what it looks like inside. That will hopefully be coming in the future. In addition, we hope, our two goals are, we want to try to make it easier for newer users to be introduced to it. We'll be improving the UI over time, as well as hopefully get some guides out there. In addition, we hope at some point to provide some tools that both new users and advanced users will find useful.
I'm a map maker, and I used to make a lot of maps on Warcraft 3. And one thing that I find really kind of irritating for me on StarCraft 2 is that it's hard for me to just host a game and get immediate feedback as I'm developing my map and kind of figure things out like that. It has to be already popular for people to play it, so I'm just kind of having problems with the popularity system.
One of the things that I would recommend that you do is actually establish your own forums. There's plenty of like free forums out there, and use the BlizzardDOTA forums and try to like bump your own topic as much as you can. Just trying to get people to play your game, maybe make a couple connections online so you can play test it, and then your map will like spread virally and you'll get a lot of feedback that way. I wouldn't get discouraged too much about the popularity system. I really made sure that when I was a modder for Warcraft 3 that I established my own community and that I had my own little feedback system amongst the people that I could talk to. So in a way, I didn't use the Battle.net features a lot.
Hi. First I wanted to let all the amateur map makers here know that Starcraft, se2mapster.com is a great resource. My name's Aiur Roland, if anyone's heard of me there. 6 and come find me. But my question was, when you lock your maps, all it seems to do is delete the trigger file. It doesn't really obfuscate the galaxy, and things just don't seem to be very secure. Do you have any plans on making that any more secure in the future?
Yes, we do. Because we have the marketplace, and it's one of the things that we're thinking about, is that once we unveil that, we also have to protect your guys' work. So all the stuff that you guys are creating for your map, we're looking for ways also to ensure and protect your work also.
Hello. I wanted to ask when these maps that you showcased will be released on Battle.net, and whether the custom map contest winners, the custom map contest winning entries will also be showcased and published at some point.
That would be a yes to all that. We haven't gotten too far with the winners, the 3 people that we're showing their maps today, but that's definitely probably the process next is to get them out there in front of Battle.net and put it up at the top of the feature list, and including these custom maps too. We don't actually have an official day yet when we're going to release these. This is kind of our beta here at BlizzCon, so it's still a little bit of a work in progress.
Hi, I was wondering with custom GUIs if map makers will be able to have hotkeys re-enabled when turning off the Starcraft UI, and if there's a possibility for custom campaigns.
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
When map makers turn off the Starcraft GUI, or the graphic user interface, they are a little impeded with not having hotkeys enabled. And if there's a possibility of having that re-enabled, and also if there's a custom campaigns being able for map makers.
Justin, do you have any insight into the editor on that?
With hotkeys, I know that one thing is that we won't want to prevent a user from accessing the main menu. So we don't want someone to be able to make a map that prevents someone from getting to that. So certain hotkeys are going to be reserved, but I don't know anything in particular that we have in the works, but that's really good feedback, and I hope that we'll be able to provide that for you soon.
Hi, yeah. So basically, thinking about feedback and getting all that data, let's say you're making BlizzardDOTA and you want to figure out what classes or what heroes are more overpowered or underpowered or whatever. Will there be any way of getting the data at the end of the game, somehow sending that data somewhere so you can collect it and kind of look over, oh, this hero is winning every game or whatever? Will there be any way to mine that data somehow?
We have a score screen that will show all kinds of stats like hero kills, the amount of damage that each hero has done, the damage they've taken, you know, how many times they've died, assists, I mean just all kinds of things like that. And you'll get that at the end of every game that you play. And then, of course, you're totally free to send any feedback to us, whether it's via forums or whatever method that you choose.
If anybody has any more questions, feel free to get in line, you guys. We've still got plenty of time.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly what I'm asking. Basically, 1,000 people play your game, and I want to know the win, like what teams won those 1,000 games, so I can look and see, will there be any way to get like the data from games I haven't played that like my fans have played or whatever?
I'm not certain I still understand the question, but I think what you're asking maybe is like, for example, for the main multiplayer game, we say like, 51% of Protoss, are winning against, Terran, for example, like that. And there's definitely, we might be releasing stats like that as well, absolutely.
I won the custom map contest, and I wanted to know how many that participated in the contest, if possible.
How to what?
How many that participated in the contest?
Oh, and how many entries were there for the contest?
Yeah.
The number that I heard, I don't know the exact number, but I believe there was over 500.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I played Warcraft 3 Dota a lot, and I was wondering, for Starcraft 2, will the inventory system ever be simplified to a lot more similar to being like Warcraft 3? Because right now, I played the Starcraft Dotas a lot, but the inventory system is really clunky as for items.
The inventory system is something that's very much a work in progress. Theoretically, it existed before we started working on this map, but this map was actually a wake-up call for us, and it's definitely something that we are looking to improve.
Thank you.
Hello. In the Warcraft 3 bonus campaign, you could jump from one map to another, kind of going through the little, well, like an instance. I didn't know how realistic it was to integrate that into StarCraft 2 multiplayer, where you might have 8-10 players, on multiple maps at multiple times.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite understanding the question here.
So in Warcraft 3, the bonus campaign, there was a main map, and then from there you went to what would be an instance in Warcraft, but you actually switched maps. So you actually went to Thunder Ridge with the lizards and different things. So I didn't know how plausible it was to actually hook multiple maps together in a multiplayer setting for StarCraft 2.
You know what? We haven't really explored linking multiplayer maps together. That was something that, when we did that in Warcraft 3, that was a bunch of designers towards the end of the development cycle there that we got really excited, which were kind of going off the World of Warcraft because they were developing simultaneously at the time. But that's a really good suggestion. That's something we should probably take a look at as far as linking maps together on a multiplayer experience.
Hi, so I noticed going from War 3 to StarCraft 2, there's been a lot of improvements to the editor, but as far as BNet goes, there seems to be a lack of options for, like, let's say Dota, there's a lot of game modes, and you might not want to play all random, but maybe like all pick. Is there going to be any way to add filters to that for maps in the future?
The only thing I could really say about Battle.net is it's really an ongoing experience for us. Just as we're creating custom maps and we're trying to look at ways to improve the editor, we're constantly looking for ways to improve the Battle.net itself too.
Thank you.
Hello, I was wondering if we could have some sort of high score screen over a region or worldwide for our maps.
You can actually do some of that already using the bank system in the triggers. You can store whatever stats that you want, like say I won your map, you can store that on my computer, and then you can actually load that data into the map, and then you can list out all of the stats. That you can do right now, and of course in the future we're always looking to add even more functionality.
Hey, the popularity system seems to be based on a number of games played. So right now it seems to be making a one-player tower defense that lasts 5 minutes would top the charts. Do you plan to include number of players and how long a game lasts into the popularity system?
I kind of caught a little bit. You're